they sacrificed themselves so that we might fulfill our destiny.
The Bentusi Core will have survived the explosion. Telemetry scans indicate its most likely location to be just outside the blast radius. Be advised, the Vagar will have detected the explosion. We can expect enemy contact. Hyperspace coordinates locked in.
Hyperspace successful. We have cleared the shockwave.
Scans of the debris field have isolated 3 fragments of the Bentusi Hyperspace Core. The containment units are located here. The core itself is here. All 3 elements must be retrieved. However, the destruction of Bentus has created a hazardous environment. Dispatch a probe to analyze the core fragments.
Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Homeworld 2 Remastered. So the Bentusi have pulled a heroic sacrifice, blowing themselves up. So the Bentusi are no more. And they've taken the Keepers with them, and the core has somehow survived that massive explosion. Don't ask how, it just did. So I think we're pretty much full up on our fleet now. I have encountered a strange bug in this game where I think you'll lose like a good number of strike craft just as the mission ends. So I've entered some missions with like half of my strike craft gone, just like destroyed or something. You have to rebuild them back up, but I don't know, thankfully it didn't occur with this one. Yeah, but sometimes I have noticed it does happen.
Copy.
I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if they're meant to be like lost in some of these explosions or something, or
research complete.
What? I don't know.
Upgrades available. New capital ships available for construction.
So we have some new research to do. Namely, we have battle cruisers. So we also need defense field frigates. So we've researched battle cruisers. We need to upgrade their armor and their speed now. And we're going to build a full complement of battle cruisers. A whole whopping 3 of them.
Acknowledged.
Group 2 reinforced.
And again, it's one of those cases where, like,
copies.
I guess battle cruisers just sounds cooler or more apropos for a science fiction setting, but if you know the difference between a battle cruiser and a battleship, you're like, I'd rather just have battleships. Yeah, a battle cruiser is essentially, it's a big ship with the guns, roughly the gun size of a battleship, but the armor of a cruiser, like a heavy cruiser armor.
Upgrade complete.
So it's meant to be fast and quick and to like harass enemy supply lines and things like that.
Production underway.
In an ideal setting, battle cruisers are not designed to go with the battle line, with the rest of the battleships. So yeah, and this is before the age of, like, you know, we had developed fast battleships. So
ready.
Yeah, the British tried putting their battle cruisers in the battle line with the other battleships during the Battle of Jutland, and it didn't work out terribly well for the battle cruisers. So yeah. But anyway, whatever. It's your battle cruiser. It sounds really awesome and cool. Yeah. Yeah, it takes about a little over 4.5 minutes, like 4 minutes and 40 seconds to build a battle cruiser. So yeah, I just skipped ahead here and we got 3 of them built. Voila.
Ready.
Something else I noticed. Look at these elite gunships here. Why are they green? Like, they used to be like tan. Like, here's a bomber, and here's an elite bomber. Their color scheme is literally the same. They used to be different. All of a sudden, those elite gunships have changed to a green color scheme. I don't know. Whatever. These are our glorious battle cruisers. I must say, they look very cool. They have two dual bow-mounted guns. and two dual ion cannon turrets mounted
Group 9
amidships.
designated.
So yes, they prefer turreted weapons, as do many of the Hiigaran designs.
Roger.
From my understanding, the battle cruiser, the overall shape of it, is meant to
Repair
resemble
order
something of a broadsword.
Copy. New formation acknowledged.
We're about ready to start pushing off here. We are going to actually go collect the 3 pieces of the Bentusi Core. But as the opening cinematic suggested, the Vaegar have also, figured, oh, something is up. That massive explosion may have given something away.
Reporting. Course set. Roger. Standing by.
I was initially thinking that the naval tactics of this game kind of resembled late World War II or early Cold War style tactics, and there is some of that, to be sure. Like with flak frigates, with guided missiles and torpedoes and the various ship types. But when I kind of look at the formations that these ships use, and the fact that a lot of the frigates have their armament forward facing, then in many ways, it kind of also resembles like 14th to 16th century naval tactics.
Ready.
Around that time, they were still using like galleys, like oar-rowed galleys in the Mediterranean. But in Northern Europe, they had begun using round ships, which were kind of early, large sailing ships. So anyway, I'm sending the strike craft out here to the right and the capital ships and frigates out to the left. So we're going to go around Bentus. Bentus is just right there in the center.
New upgrades available.
Caution. Dangerous particle emissions have been located near the core fragments. Research Division reports that they can adjust the defense field generators in order to provide protection from the hazardous emissions. Begin enhanced defense field frigate research.
Okay, well, we will do that. And you do need to use at least one defense field frigate in this mission.
Group 9 standing
So there's
by.
dangerous radiation around the 3 pieces of the core. It looks like there's radiation around the map, but don't worry, it's dust or something. It doesn't harm your ships. But directly around those pieces of the core, there is radiation. There's deadly ship melting radiation.
Acknowledged.
So, yeah, the rest of this is not radiation, or at least it cannot harm your ships.
Upgrade.
And if you're wondering, no, the radiation cannot harm around the pieces of the core, cannot harm the movers either. But for some reason, I've tried it, the movers cannot collect those pieces of the core. So yeah, it's weird, like the movers can collect certain things, just not the pieces of the core.
Roger. Copy. Acknowledged.
Alert. Vaegar hyperspace signals identified.
Group 8 reports enemy contact. Group 3 reports enemy contact. Group 2 reports enemy contact. Group 6 reports enemy contact.
All right, well,
Group
here
5
come the
reports enemy
Vaegar.
contact.
Again, we have a shipyard and a carrier here.
Strike group under enemy attack.
So hence why I sent my units out to these areas of the map.
Group 9 standing by.
Now if my battle cruisers and dreadnought ever catch up to the party, we can get some work done.
Under enemy attack. Strike group receiving fire. Moving to destination.
Come on, move your butt.
Ready. Light fire confirmed.
Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, the movers are not affected by the radiation, yet they cannot
Ready.
retrieve the pieces of the core. Why that is, I don't know. So yes, you specifically do need to use defense field frigates and the resource collectors to get the pieces of the core. But we'll do that in due time.
Enemy attack. Strike group reports hostile.
Anyway, as I was saying about the naval tactics of this game, gradually the round ships would develop forecastles and aftercastles, right, at the fore and aft ends of the ship. Early cannon were heavy bronze or brass, and they were bow mounted, so they were actually forward firing. At the time, they had not come to the concept of mounting cannons to fire broadsides. So yeah, that wouldn't occur till roughly, the 16th or the 17th century. In this respect, the torpedo and ion cannon frigates do kind of resemble early round ships, so hence the wall formations and phalanx type formations do make logical sense for these types of ships. And there goes the shipyard.
Strike group moving into position. Confirmed.
All right, and they took care of that carrier. Very good. We should have one more enemy force here somewhere.
Strike group coordinates locked in. Docking signal green.
So anyway, furthermore, early naval tactics did resemble land tactics because the ships were pressed into service and commanded by army officers. I've already talked about that a bit. What is also interesting is that the destroyers, when they attack, they turn broadside to their targets before firing. This is likely to unmask one of the turrets on the ventral side of the ship. And even with many ships having turrets, I mean, the formations seemed a little... seemed to mean very little to the Hiigarans, apart from like forming like a wall or a phalanx type formation. The vessels move around in formation, but they don't seem to make a tremendous difference to the Hiigaran fleets.
Ready. Copy. Copy. Ready. We have our orders. Take
I did
control.
find out that one of the reasons why
Ready.
the Homeworld series contains so many Middle Eastern and biblical references is because one of the writers, David J. Williams, has a lot of knowledge in those fields. Additionally, he studied military history, and he helped work on at least the stories for Homeworld 1, and he was the lead writer for Homeworld Deserts of Karak.
Standing by.
So, I don't know how much he
Setting drive
contributed
to
to the
idle.
story of Homeworld 2, but anyway, he's probably one of the reasons why there's so many
Standing by.
mythological and biblical references to this story.
Copy.
I guess I could say that the application of military tactics in this game is kind of hodgepodge in a way. So, I mean, it's a weird mix of land and naval tactics.
Copy.
I will argue,
Docking
and
with
I'll
carrier.
explain this as well when we play Deserts of Karak, but given that the exiled Hiigarans, the Kushan, in the first game,
Construction
since they
underway.
came from the desert world of Karak,
Docking signal green.
they probably would not have much of a concept of naval warfare, even though in the game's lore it was explained that there is at least one ocean, which is the Magellan Sea, near the south pole of the planet, but
Acknowledge.
as far as we know, that's the only body of water in the game lore. Now that said, it's been over 100 years since they have returned to Hiigara, right? Because Homeworld 2 takes place about 115 years after they return to the planet, so, which Hiigara does have oceans, so presumably they would have developed some naval tactics and technology, by that time.
Copy.
And according to the game lore and Deserts of Karak, we do know that they use a naval officer rank structure, and they do have like admirals.
Complete.
Prepare
The
for
Vega are using shielded
Reporting.
carriers to navigate the area.
destination
All
locked
right,
in.
we're gonna start going after some of those core pieces, and we're gonna. Here's the last. This should be the last
Engage capital
bunch
ship.
of Vager
Target
units.
lost in Nebula.
They brought themselves a battle cruiser and a destroyer
Stay calm.
and a carrier.
Attack. What's the call? Heavy fire confirmed. Acknowledge. Strike group receiving fire. Attacking
Get
capital
that
ship.
battle cruiser's
Ready.
engines, please.
Subsystem attack confirmed. Strike group under enemy attack. Understood. Repair target locked in. Standing by. Strike group reports hostile contact. Strike group prepare for assault.
Anyway, as I was saying, right,
Resource collector.
we do know that the Hiigarans use a naval rank structure for its officers, because they do have things like admirals and
Subsystem
whatnot.
target acquired.
In fact, actually, the word admiral itself comes from an Arabic word
Frigate lost.
in another reference to Middle Eastern culture. So the Arabic word that admiral comes from is
Strike group
Amir
reports hostile
al-Baka. I think that's how you pronounce it, which literally means Prince of the Sea.
receiving fire.
So, and it came over to English via Latin and French.
Under attack.
Black
So,
frigate,
yeah.
Heavy damage.
Another Middle Eastern reference there.
Subsystem attack confirmed.
Group 3 reports victory.
Pursuing targets.
Okay, now let's just take out the resourcing operation and we'll be good. And we'll be free to
Defeated the enemy.
collect those pieces of the core without any interference from the
Strike
Vager.
group prepare for assault. No problem. No problem. Okay, you're good to go. Roger.
Group 3 has defeated the enemy.
Move order confirmed.
Alright, so we need to use a defense field frigate in conjunction with a resource collector to get inside that radiation and collect the pieces of
Destination locked in.
the
Gaining
hyperspace
targets of
core.
opportunity.
Which begs the question, how on earth did it break up into 3 pieces? I mean, more specifically, how did it survive the explosion of Bentus? I mean, we saw it, and like, when Bentus went critical, like, that was a pretty big explosion. You could see it from quite a distance away. I don't know how many light years that was, but very far away. So, yeah, it looks like they just exploded like 50 Tsar bombas, like, you know, a whole bunch of 50 megaton warheads or something. And these hyperspace cores are truly really special things, huh? Yeah, they can survive explosions like that and just break up into 3 pieces, which we can, of course, reassemble because the Hiigaran Science Department is awesome.
Defense field powered up.
All right, anyway, so as they go down into the radiation, we need to follow them down with the frigate and activate the defense field. It only lasts a short amount of time, so they need to get in and get out quickly, but it does recharge once it goes out. There we go. You see the purple meter there? That's the defense field.
Standing by.
And we can see it go out right now.
Shield power
Those
deployed.
arms fold back down. Okay. And we can go start getting the other ones.
Destination locked in.
Again, I don't know why we cannot use movers instead, because they're not affected by the radiation, so... Yeah, I don't know. It's just an excuse to have you, to force you to use a defense field frigate or something, yeah. I mean, theoretically, you could have a defense field frigate guard some kind of unit and occasionally activate its defense field to guard, you know, because it stops, like, most incoming rounds.
Berths are clear.
Yeah, it stops a lot of fire. The defense field frigate can be used to defend against incoming enemy fire.
Reporting.
But it's like of so little, it's such a specific tool in a way that it's pretty much useless.
Strike group moving into position.
I've also read in the Art of Homeworld that the conceptual artist for the game did a number of design studies on what the Vaegar looked like as beings, right? As like people, so to speak. Just so they can kind of get an idea of what the enemy looked like, even though we never see what your average Vaegar looks like.
Torpedo frigate complete.
So they kind of based the design of the Vaegars off of the Harkonnens from Dune.
Copy.
More specifically, the David Lynch 1980s Dune
The first core
film.
fragment is secure. Retrieve the remaining 2.
So yeah, the Vaegar designs are meant to be like these techno-organic beings that wear these gas masks and leather outfits, and basically they cannot survive without technology, right? It's like Darth Vader, you know, from Star Wars, or the Borg from Star Trek, right? So they're dependent on technology to survive. So that's the general idea of the Vaegar, is that they're these like weird techno-mechanical freaks or something. Alright, there's core part number 2. We'll send it up there and we'll get ready to snag the last piece.
Destination locked in. Shield power depleted.
I also previously discussed how the conceptual design of a lot of the ships in Homeworld 2 was done on an almost ad hoc basis. Like eventually they figured out a whole design aesthetic, but in Homeworld 1 they did take heavy inspiration from 1970s sci-fi art, but the developers did note that Homeworld 2 came out around the same time as, like, you know, the Halo series was really gaining popularity around 2003. In a way, they noted that Homeworld 2's ship designs with their blocky, angular aesthetic kind of presaged science fiction ship art of the time, and for the next, like, you know, decade.
Move order confirmed.
And as for the Progenitor Dreadnought, the artist Aaron Cambates, who worked on these games, wrote that he continued on with the angular and blocky ship designs, but he drew inspiration from the Sulaco from Aliens because he wanted a ship that kind of resembled a gun. Although if you look at the profile of the Dreadnought from side on, others have noted that it does kind of look like a a big dinosaur skull. Kind of like a big elongated T-Rex skull.
Confirmed. Understood. Repair target locked in. Group 9. Move order confirmed. Reporting. Strike group coordinates locked in. Standing by. Moving to destination. Standing by. Green line confirmed.
All right, let's start pulling everyone back to the mothership. There's no need for them to be out there anymore.
Confirmed. On our way.
Second core fragment retrieved. We only require the final component. It must be secured immediately.
Yes, hold your horses, Karen. Working on it.
Roger.
This is one of the containing units for the core.
Reporting. Group 9. Understood.
In the classic version of this game, this mission can be a bit tricky because the Vaegir do come at you with a sizable force.
Ready. En route. Acknowledged. Strike group coordinates locked in. Reporting. Defense field engaged.
Alright, let's get that
Understood.
last piece, and then we can go home.
Moving to destination. Course set.
Okay, just keep the defense field around there. Quick, grab it. Grab it. Alright, there you go.
En route.
And the defense field
Negative, please.
is
Shield
out of
recharged.
juice.
Resource collector
Oh,
under
I took
attack.
a little bit of damage. That's okay. They're alright. Well, this is really the only mission where you'll need a defense field frigate, so you can actually just retire it at the end of this mission.
Roger.
I've docked all my strike craft again just to kind of experiment, see if like they'll survive and I won't have to like rebuild all of them or something if I don't like lose half of them when we exit this mission. Again, it's a weird bug or something. Yeah. So I've tried docking all my strike craft and keeping them docked, so I thought maybe that was the reason. Like, were they not docked or something when we hyperspaced away and that's why I lost half of them, or I don't know.
Copy.
Just taking a nice look at the battle cruisers. The battle cruisers do have hangar bays and they can service strike craft
Ready.
squadrons, although they cannot build any.
En route.
So they don't have production facilities on there, but they can
You are
service
clear to dock.
strike craft
Copy.
should they need to.
Green line confirmed.
And I have also built fire control towers on all three of my battle cruisers, so yes, that'll help out with their accuracy, their fire discipline, and efficiency.
Confirmed.
Well, once we get on to the next mission, and the last couple of missions, those will be a little bit tricky. They will get a little bit harder. So, in particular, next mission, that's a real fun one. She's a real doozy, so the mission after this would be just so much fun. But then again, with the difficulty scaler set to 0, I mean, it might end up being relatively easy. But like I said, I mean, I don't really care so much about. I just want to get through this game. I just want to play it, and because I play Homeworld for the story, I don't really play it so much for the gameplay. So.
All Vaegir have been defeated. No additional hostile contacts detected.
The Bentusi Core is stable and has established a positive link with our own.
All right, lovely. So, let's get out of here.
We have re-established contact with Captain Soban's tracking device.
Far jump coordinates locked in.